Hello, good evening. And well, usually on a Saturday, if you're talking about England, the fans there, the sports fans, are very much expectant of Premier League action. And as the matches go on, the excitement obviously rises. And there was a bit of a confusion as to how they're going to attend that space given England's test match going on with India. But the team very well managed that for them today as the collapse happened for India in the second innings. Well, what a day of Test cricket. Yesterday, it was all about hope. And mind you, today, one of my friends sent me this meme, the Shawshank Redemption one. Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive man insane. And it is exactly what happened to us when we started watching those wickets fall. But here we are back, and with me are the two gents to review the test match, the third test of this series. It's level now, 1-1. Welcome, Abhishek Mukherjee and Sandipan Banerjee. Gents, one word thoughts on the action that we saw over the 3 days, over the 4 days of this test. We are, of course, going to include the 1.5 hour of action that we saw today.
But 10 sessions.
Yeah, 10 sessions. 10 sessions, perfect. 10 sessions, perfect. Okay. So that's your description of the test, or are you talking about something else?
Test. It's a usual standard one-sided innings win. England outplayed India. What do the commentators say? England outplayed India. They used something in all three departments, right? That's what they use. Yeah. So in all three departments, basically. That's that. I have to remember these cliches on time.
But it's good that we are starting with cliches because as far as this win is concerned, it kind of made us rethink as to if something had happened 9 days ago in London. The mood was totally different when India was there in London last time, and it will be different when they now travel back to London. But Sandipanda, your thoughts on the action that we saw in Leeds?
I mean, it's a complete, 360-degree turn from what we saw at Lords, right? From India's point of view. I mean, for England, is some sort of a redemption, as you were saying in your opening speech that it was Shawshank Redemption or something. I thought it is like England's redemption or something like that. But yes, I was expecting some sort of a fight for the Indian batsman, especially what we saw last evening. But again, it's the same old story. And probably next test we'll see some new faces in the Indian side as well. New faces in the context of the series. I mean, so yeah. I think from an Indian fans point of view, it's like a complete, what can I say, harakiri for what today we have seen, actually, especially after the kind of fight back we saw. It was not expected then what happened today. So it was very much not on the cards. It's another cliche that's very much on the cards.
Yeah,
but again, it was not on the cards. Yeah, not on the cards.
Right. So before we move forward in this direction,
I'll use a lot of cliches today.
That's what I was trying to suggest. Let's make this a more cliche sort of an episode and try and review the test with all the cliches that we can use. All right. The test, by the way, and this I think is another cliche which is being used in Manchester right now, where Arsenal are or have been defeated by Manchester City. By the way, nice place to be if you like football. But a game that was over in its first act when India came out to bat and were dismissed by 78. What do you guys think?
Almost. You almost never come back after getting bowled out for 78. But having said that, I can remind you two instances. One was 1979 Lords. India were bowled out for 96, and England got 419 or something. Then Vishwanath and Vengsarkar both scored hundreds and saved the match. But more recently, in 99, India were bowled out for 83 in Mohali. And then they bowled out, but they restricted New Zealand to 205. And in the second innings, I think they declared on 505 for 3. So that was another thing. I think all India's top five scored 50 plus. Dravid, Tendulkar, someone probably got 100 as well. But yeah, I mean, that was another instance. India got bowled out for under 100 and didn't lose the match. They drew both matches. But in the Lord's Test of 79, it rained, and in 99, I think India restricted New Zealand to a low score. But here, the lead was too vast and there was too much time. If this was a 4-day test match, there was still a chance. But I mean, there was just too much time. Um, what we had seen at Eden Gardens 20 years earlier, I mean, we celebrate that because that happens very, very rarely.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that doesn't happen every day. We have to understand that. Yeah,
yeah,
it just doesn't. I mean, you just can't summon those performances out of magically.
yeah, yeah,
This is the usual
But for but
scenario.
yeah,
I mean,
I think after
if you concede a lead of 350, you almost over with almost 3 days of cricket left, then you almost certainly lose. It's very a draw, let alone a win, is very rare. There are three
yeah,
days left.
yeah. Yeah. Sandipan, you were
but
trying to
I
add
think
something. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just saying that, like, whatever cricket we have seen from the Indian team in last past 1.5 years or so, I think when India ended the day at 215 for two last night, and they were like 139 behind, we all hope for some sort of a miracle, right?
Yeah.
And we knew that if the new ball can leak runs, then we can get close to England by lunch. Then probably we have seen what our tail is capable of, especially at Lords. So some sort of, like, maybe we
But
will
then
give
again,
England
yeah.
something 150 or odd to chase or something like that. So when we ended the day at 215 for two, I think a lot of the fans, including me, I think we hope for some sort of fight there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hoped. I expected India to avoid the innings defeat at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not maybe save or win, but at least make England bat again. That is something I expected.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's, I guess, one of the big things that this Indian team has achieved in the last few months is to make people say never. And I guess it's going to help them around in the next two test matches as well. But right then, moving on to what the captain said just after the match, because this is the fresh piece of bit that we have right now. And talking about Virat Kohli, again, persisting with the 4+1 template, but apart from that, was consistently asked, and I guess this was the question which was raised right on day one, whether winning the toss and batting first was something that was advantageous. To which he has said that, and even Rishabh Pant said that we as a team took that decision collectively. But I guess then again we have to go back to the fact that probably losing toss and winning the
Yeah,
game suits
please
us.
let him return to let him return to losing tosses again.
it's it's
I think
it's
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 better
fun.
that.
I think it's just fun to think that these kind of instances happen every now and then. But then again, the 4+1 template is something we can talk about now. And Sandeep, you mentioned this earlier that Ravichandran Ashwin is a player, and as well as you did mention about Hanuma Vihari and Suryakumar Yadav. These are the players who might come into play in the series now. And now that India almost have it, that they have to win it from here. Do you expect changes to come in now that they travel to London at the Oval?
absolutely. They are playing at the Oval. They will play to Ashwin over there. And I don't know whether the 4+1 template will be there or not in the Oval.
Yeah,
And there is just 3-day gap. I think now we have got one extra day, but
4th, yeah.
otherwise, according to the schedule, there's a 3-day gap. So they will definitely put Ashwin in the mix. So I am expecting Ashwin to replace one of the spacers. Yes, probably Ishant
Yeah.
Sharma, because he is looking a bit of out of sorts. And in the batting department, I am expecting Hanuma Bihari to come into the scheme of things, probably in place of Rahane.
In place of Rahane. That might be
because
a
Pujara
way.
has scored here, so
Yeah.
you cannot drop someone who has scored.
Pujara has not only scored here. Pujara also got a 45 in the
Yeah,
second innings at Lords.
With more number of deliveries in that particular innings at lots.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Pujara has got runs in two of his last three innings.
Yeah.
So
yes.
one may
But
say that
Rahane is in the
he's
danger zone.
returning to form.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rahane, yeah, I mean,
If
if one
if
of the two is
they
axed,
want to, uh, it will be Rahane.
if one of the two is axed, then it will be Rahane. But at this point, I don't know. I mean, I think they will have a look at the pitch, figure out, understand whether it is going to be. I mean, there is going to be turn because this pitch seemed brown. That's
Yeah.
what we. A lot of people said this is brown. This didn't. the- I mean, the first ball that seriously turned was the one that bowled Shami.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Moeen Ali's
other than
delivery.
that, there was no serious turn. If it's a pitch like this, I don't know. I mean, whether there will be serious value addition. I know the oval has a reputation of producing turn, but I think the decision will eventually happen based on what exactly the pitch for that test match is like, and the batting combination will also be settled based on that.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to, Ishant Sharma is clearly out of the shot, so out of shot. He's looking a bit fatigued, and I don't know.
But
So
he
maybe,
bowled well at
but
Lords. I mean, I don't know.
he
He
bowled at
can't.
Lords, but again, there's not much of gap not much of recovery time before the oval game. So
Yeah.
will
And
you pick him, or there is Sardul Thakur also in the mix, who's
yeah.
fit, and but so basically we have to see whether Sardul adds more value in this team or Ashwin adds. So
And
choice
that's
will
and
be
that's
bit
and that
that's the
will
kind of
depend entirely on the
competition.
conditions. And that
Yeah.
will depend entirely on the conditions.
Yeah.
Ishant,
Yeah.
if he, I mean, we can always say that he had one bad match where he didn't, he didn't bowl a lot of overs either. I mean, it might have been just one bad match. Let us see, but I'm sure the team will be monitoring them in the nets.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's see. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, we are speculating, and they are the ones watching the bowlers in the nets. Basically, on the
Definitely.
day of the match, they will know who is in best rhythm.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Ishant regains his rhythm back then why not?
also I think winning the toss and batting first was the right choice on that pitch. I know the pitch was damp, as Pan said, but you are expected to have damp pitches in England, right? You are playing
Yeah,
north in the northern part of the country. You just have to play that first two sessions out, maybe, which India didn't. Like, take
and
example of the 2002 Test match. 2002 Test match when Sanjay Bangar opened the innings and played that difficult part out. Then there's runs on offer.
and
So I guess,
the
yeah,
the worst bit was whenever the Indians edged, it went to Butler. So
Yeah.
basically, what happened was there was no edge flying away, there was no edge flying over slips, there was no edge falling in random areas. They were not even wide edges.
Yeah.
They were not even thick edges flying to slips. They were thin edges flying to the wicket keeper. So they were. I mean, they produced five thin edges and got the first five wickets cheaply.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I
but
mean, on another day,
in
yeah.
hindsight, but yeah, in hindsight, why didn't the Indian pace bowlers got similar sort of a movement early in the first session on day two? Because England batted there. There's
Yeah.
not
No,
enough
no, no.
movement.
Yeah, on day 2 and 3, there was. I mean, day two, India did not. I mean, India started with a relatively old ball, but again, India, I think, did not bowl as poorly as we think on day two. On day one, India didn't look like taking a wicket, and they did not. On day two, India did an okay
Yeah.
job. They restricted. I mean, Root was batting on another planet. If you take, I mean, Root didn't seem like he would be bothered by anyone else. It took a super ball to get him
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
But if you take out Root, The Indians bowled reasonably well to the other batters. So maybe not as good as maybe not as good as what they were at Lords, or maybe they were, but I mean this was also or a slightly easier pitch than Lords.
And if you look at the complete lineup, apart from the first four batters who played 100 plus deliveries each, none of the other England batters were able to face even 50. So I think apart from the first four adding to the tally, India did a reasonably fair job in order to restrict the others and especially the tail on day three. To which then brings us to the only point, according to the captain, the Indian captain, which is a positive to take out from this test match, which is India's batting in second innings. Now, KL Rahul was restricted pretty much early on, but then the partnership between Rohit and Pujara and Kohli, which saw India through the day three, is the kind of positive that India particularly needed with the series, especially because the 3, 4, and 5 were scoring, especially because the captain needed some runs under his belt. Even though he didn't get a triple figure score, this 50 might just be at a nice time in this series for India to progress.
Of course, I mean runs obviously adds to a batter's confidence, but at the same time, I think India. I mean, Pujara batted reasonably well in Lords as well in the second
Yeah.
innings, and
Yeah.
Kohli. I think throughout this series, Kohli has been playing his shots. He has been finding the boundaries early in his innings, on a couple of innings, and then he just chased one ball and got out. Basically, he needs to get lucky someday. Maybe just not. I mean, it will happen at some point.
Was that a cliche that you used? Was that a
Yeah.
cliche?
No. The cliche I'm waiting for is I'm reserving for is how well England bowled today, especially Robinson.
Okay.
He bowled. Now is the cliche. Now here is the cliche. He bowled. He did just what the doctor ordered.
Ah, nice. Nice. Nice one. So, but on Indian batting, we haven't really talked about this now, but can, because it's been 3 test matches into the series. And if we talk about India, it's been 8 innings in this English tour so far, including the WTC final, which seems like a while ago. But even then, if we talk about India's batting, there is the certain case of Rishabh Pant, which is being talked about now. The same kind of shot that has been bugging him, which is not able to completely play and then get out caught in the slips. So, is there a particular problem here for India? Because now, when you're you're looking to make some changes in the series. How well are you going to organize Rishabh Pant's place in that batting order? Is he going to go a little down in the batting order if Hanuma Vihari is coming in, or is the position going to be all the same?
To be honest, I was thinking if India lost yesterday. I was thinking if India lost another wicket, say yesterday when Kohli and Pujara were batting, why not put Pant at 5? That's what I was thinking, because India did that in Australia. They promoted Pant,
Yep.
not push him down. They, I mean, I know the ball doesn't move around as much, but first of all, it puts a left-hander in the mix,
Yeah.
just to force the bowlers to adjust their lines. I know it's much tougher in England, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Pant, see, in the fourth innings, in the third innings, basically, when Pant came out to bat, it was almost over. I mean, I expected Pant to go after the ball, and I mean, Pant doesn't expect it to block his way until stumps on day 5.
Yeah.
Pant's best bet was to go after the ball and see whether he could get some runs and make England bat again, or maybe push India as much as possible. Maybe basically take risks. That was always how Pant was. Okay, I mean, he could have succeeded. He did not.
Yeah.
And in the first innings, he failed just like everyone else. He was one of the 10 Indian batters who got out cheaply. That was it. I mean, it's not. much to be worried about.
It was just a bad day at
The
the office for Indian batters on
but
cable,
it is
wasn't it,
happening
Abhishek?
quite regularly for Pant against the Duke's ball. I know he has scored at the Oval on the
Now,
previous tours,
That was
but
3 years ago.
yeah, but his success rate against the Duke's ball is not that much, and we all know that Duke's ball, you know, test the skill of a batsman. It is far different than Kokabura, which Pant faced in the Australia tour.
Yeah, he has handled the SG, he has handled the Kookaburra, and let's see. I mean, it may not be as much as the Dukes, as much as it is about. I mean, the England bowlers have. I mean, especially here in this Test match, they have really bowled well on days 1 and 4. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he is not the only one who failed on the first and fourth days. The entire lineup failed. So yeah.
And even for someone like Cheteshwar Pujara, who had been there for some amount of time in the middle, to have missed just that delivery from Ollie Robinson just goes
he
to
would
show how
not
this.
he would not have misjudged it had he been out there for an hour. It was just early in the day.
Yeah,
He was just not set. I mean, I so wanted him to get a big score here.
yeah. It was so near to getting his
It was
100 as
clever
well.
on the part of Root. It was clever on the part of Root yesterday when Indians were like milking runs against the slow spinners because of the bad light. He could have bowled those remaining 8-9 overs, but he just wanted to make these
No,
players wait before their milestone, right?
yes, but again, the 80th over happened.
Oh yeah, so they were probably waiting for the 80th over.
Yes. So they claimed the new. So the stumps was drawn after exactly 80 overs.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, they wanted the new ball straight away in the day 4 morning.
If you have been there, and this is for our audience, if you have been there for some time now, if you were there for the second test review, we were, of course, talking about the curious case of Indian declaration and all the stories that we think can go fit in with that theory. And these are our versions of the new ball being taken as well, and the seamers coming in on day 3. But then, on that note, if we talk about England's seamers here, and what was really noticeable was Jimmy Anderson in that first innings bowled just one spell, and he was just so cool. In that one spell, he destroyed the Indian top order and was just then sitting, probably fielding some. He was fielding on the ground and probably giving instructions to the others to go out and attack. So it was a shared bit of a contribution here from all the England bowlers in this test, especially for someone like Robinson to come in and pick that five here. Must be a brilliant advantage for them.
Shared by everyone other than Karan. I don't think Karan
Yeah.
is going to feature in the next 2 tests. Seems
Joe
very
Root was
Karan
asked
unlikely.
about.
is a
Joe
curious.
Root was.
It's a curious case, For Karan, maybe he. I don't know. Maybe it's a too much of effect of too much of white ball cricket, because when he came out and like when he made his debut back in 2018, he looked unplayable, right? He was bringing the ball in. He was just, he can bowl those outswingers, but now probably he's looking a bit harmless.
Yeah, but also, I mean, everyone has these good seasons, good phases and bad phases. And then every bowler goes through these phases. So it's okay. I mean, we have seen all of them go through
Pretty
some.
early on in his career as well. And if you just think
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
the stage that he is in his career right now.
He will be
But
back. There's no doubt. He's very talented.
yeah. Yeah, and that's what Captain Joe Root said after the game, that he's not concerned about Sam Curran at all. He's someone he believes will do lots and lots of things for English cricket. But then on that note, if we do talk about England's bowling, Robinson, Craig Overton, the change that was made, one of the two changes that were made, apart from David Malan, who of course scored those 70 runs, pretty nicely settling in for England, the two changes in this test, and all of a sudden made them look like this team who wasn't just phased about anything that happened 9 days back in London.
Yeah, first of all, Robinson is a fantastic bowler. I mean,
Yeah.
I can see him open bowling for England for a long time unless something drastic happens. Of course, I haven't seen him yet bowl outside England.
Yeah.
That may I don't know how well, but he seems good enough. I mean, if Archer is not touring, going for the Ashes, then they should go with Anderson, Broad, and Robinson. If the Ashes is Anderson's last series, then Broad and Robinson should take over as a new ball pair from here. Overton, I would like to see. I mean, in both innings, Overton actually got a stage set by the new ball bowlers. I mean, he bowled at a lineup that was already under pressure.
Right. Yeah.
So let us see. I mean, he's a good bowler. He bowled well, but again, I really like Karan. He just didn't fit the bill. He looked the odd man out.
Here's another cliche.
Yeah, he's another cliche.
Nice.
Regarding Malan, again, it is slightly unfair to compare him to the others because the others you often came to bat. The other number 3 batters for England came to bat when England were less than 10 for the loss of when the first wicket fell. Malan came to bat after the opposition was 78 all out, and his team had put up some 130, 140 odd for the opening stand. There was no pressure on him.
Yeah.
And the pitch was probably also easier than the number 3s faced in the previous 2 tests. So, too early to comment on Malan, but I suppose the Oval Test will tell us more.
Yeah. Yeah. And on those counts, if we now do look at the Oval Test, certainly we've talked about Sam Curran, we've talked about Rishabh Pant as well, we've talked about Ravichandran Ashwin coming in, and both the teams might be tempted to make these changes in the 4th Test so that they do not leave it all out for the final one, because now from what we see is that the 2 final Test matches and everyone would want to take that lead from here. So what do you think, how many changes England can make, especially after this win?
Well, England, I think, Abhishek, please go on.
No, go ahead.
No, I think England, I cannot see them making any changes apart from if they want to trust Sam Curran. But Oval is Sam Curran's home ground, so I don't know if maybe they will probably bank Curran to do well over there. Apart from that, in the batting order, I can't see any changes at the Oval. If considering that everyone is fit.
I think if Curran is replaced, and given that it is Oval, it will be with a spinner.
It's Jack Leach, of course.
Yeah, that might bring us to another episode of Rishabh Pant's batting in Test cricket. Might bring us into another episode of Rishabh Pant's batting in
His
Test
record against spinners without hair.
Yeah. Yes, that is exactly where we were coming to. And it might be something to say in that there. But yes, the words that were used by Captain Joe Root are where we're coming now after this particular segment of talking about changes. Now, his viewpoint of how Jimmy Anderson went about in this test was as subtle as using just 2 lines. It's just what he does. It's why he's the GOAT of Test cricket. I've seen very few players use the term GOAT, but if they have to use one, it might as well be for Jimmy Anderson. I mean, just about that one spell he bowled in the first innings. Set the stage nicely, and we saw him in that pre-match footage where he was leading the team huddle before the Test match, talking to the bowlers specifically as to how they would want to take the attack to the Indian bowlers. And he really led from the front in that capacity.
I mean, if you're thinking the Lord's incident will still have an impact on Anderson, no. I mean, he has handled hundreds of cases like this. He has been there since the earth was created. He's been bowling since then.
Just before we move forward, I remember Harsha Bhogle saying to Nasir Hussain, "You were there, right, when Jimmy Anderson made his debut?" And he was just taken a little back by that. But
Anderson is like that for ages.
I mean,
he's too experienced to be bothered about all this.
Yeah.
We have seen Jimmy Anderson in the 2003 World Cup. Come on. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
someone like
I
Devraj
did even
Padikkal was born probably there. Probably on
I
2003.
I don't even remember 2003 World Cup. That's how old Jimmy
Come
Anderson
on.
is. But that's how good he is because even now in
he's
2021,
getting
we're
better.
talking about
He's
him.
getting better.
He's like a fine wine, Abhishek. He's getting better with the age. That's one more cliche for him.
Good.
I've just added, yes, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but so Jimmy Anderson, we need to talk about it now. England will miss him dearly, is one thing for sure. Of course, Ollie Robinson has given good signs of being England's new ball bowler, but that'll take a little time to
He has
replace
taken
someone
about
like James
600
Anderson.
fewer wickets.
Yeah, definitely.
That's it.
More than 600 fewer wickets, or is it a
He has
little
got to
bit
30. I know. Anderson has what now? 630.
somewhere around that? Somewhere around that.
Robinson has played 4 tests. I don't think he has got 30 wickets. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's more than 600.
yeah, that's some difference. But even then, but will this be a sort of big term effect for a team like England? In fact, to not have Jimmy Anderson around because that time is certainly upon us. Anytime now, I mean, it's of course on to the player only, but the effect that he has had on this England team, even if you look at just this series, even in Lords, even in the first Test, even here, is always sort of charged upon the opposition batters on his own
Yes.
and just been magnificent.
I mean, see, at various points of his career, Anderson has been compared to several bowlers of his time, but Anderson has outlasted all of them.
Yeah.
So, cricketers of his generation, I read yesterday somewhere, Harmison has become a grandfather. So, basically, Anderson is not. I mean, he's slightly younger than
And
Harmison, not much.
Yeah.
Harmison is in his early 40s. Anderson is 39. So
Yeah.
he is
but
still
I
opening
think
bowling for now.
Harmishan's debut came after Anderson's, right?
No,
Anderson's debut in
Harmison
2000,
played in that 2002 series, right?
that one
That
ODI series
2002
3-3.
no, 2002 Test series against India. I
Oh
think
yeah, yeah.
he might even have played in Headingley.
Yes, yes. Harmishan played that series.
Yes. So Harmison is slightly older than Anderson, but not much. Harmison is a grandfather.
Yeah.
I read that yesterday. Someone tweeted. So, yeah, I mean, imagine someone old enough to be a grandfather still opens bowling for.
Darren
I
Goff
mean,
is another bowling partner.
We had another nice image of Jimmy Anderson attending the 100 game, one of the 100 game. And there was Stuart Broad, of course, with his partner. And Jimmy Anderson was just having his hands in the air. And someone had tweeted that picture with the caption, Jimmy Anderson. And there was no one besides him. Jimmy Anderson with a fast bowler who has more test wickets than him. That's where we are with this legend as of now. And his figures are just mind-boggling. I mean, he has the most wickets after the age of 31 in Test cricket, which just goes to show what sort of a transformation he has made. And to be that fit, I think Cristiano Ronaldo arriving to England at 36 might have some competition to the post 35 fitness club. So
So who
might be
is the
really
most
good to watch.
popular?
Anderson bowled to Aravinda De Silva. I think.
Wow.
I mean, both of them played in the 2003 World Cup. Anderson is that old.
Yeah, we'll never get across
He
talking
bowled to
about.
Saeed Anwar.
He bowled to Carl Hooper.
Yeah.
And he's bowling to Rishabh Pant. So yes,
Yes.
we might as well see him bowl to someone else, someone new coming onto the Indian side. You never know. But yes, so these are the positives for England, and we have the positives for India taken into account. But now we do need to talk about the one aspect of Test cricket that you both gents were very nicely conversating about on Twitter, on social media. I was there. I was watching you to conversate about it. We are of course talking about the pitches and the conditions and the basically this whole discussion that was there when England came on to India, and we were talking about spin friendly wickets being as some people were talking about spin-friendly wickets as not being good for the game. And then when we talk about the discussion that took place, I mean, this wasn't a tough wicket to bat on, is clear. Not as tough as Ahmedabad, but even then when we talk about green wickets, the ideology is a little bit different. I would want you to give your viewpoints on the same.
First of all, I believe that the home side should design pitches as much as possible to their advantage. Be as shameless as possible about it. If you're playing in England, England is making the pitches, build green carpets. Why would you give the opposition even the slightest of chances? You know their weakness, you know your own strength. Go after it. If you're playing in India, make a pitch where the first ball will turn at right angle. I mean, why not?
Shivner and Chandrapal might not have difficulties facing that delivery, by the way. But yeah, we'll move forward.
Anderson, by the way, bowled to Shivnara and Chandrapal. And if you play a few more years,
Shivnara and Chandrapal played in 2015, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that Anderson, when is the West Indies when is West Indies touring England next? I think.
But Tej Narayan is unlikely to play for West Indies, but I'm sure we can find a father-son combination that will go with Anderson.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure, because for Tendulkar, we found that Tendulkar played for played against both Geoff Marsh and Sean Marsh. I'm sure that we can find something with Anderson. It may be Asif Karim and Irfan Karim. I mean, we can find something if we research hard.
Yeah, we will research hard, definitely, Abhishek Da, we will. But coming on to the pitch discussion that we were having, Sandipan, do you want to add some different layer to this particular discussion?
No, as I said, I was a bit surprised. I'm always surprised. Why would you make sporting pitches? That makes no sense. Kill the match if you're making a pitch. Don't give the opposition any chance. Don't give them a sporting pitch. If you're playing in Australia, make a pitch that will be solid as granite. Don't give them any chance. I mean, what is the point in being nice to your opposition, to the touring side? Why? I mean, if I had been the ECB curator, the pitch would have resembled the outfit in color every match. The outfield in color every match. Absolutely. I mean,
probably a little less than that photoshopped image by Michael Vaughan. Probably a little less.
Probably.
He photoshopped, because that was jungle. Yeah. But
when you have home advantage, it's called home advantage for a reason. In football, you get more credit if you score overseas away goals. It's called home advantage for a reason. Take that advantage as much as you can. Maximize that advantage.
Yeah.
Why give them a chance? There's an ICC World Test Championship being played. It's not fun. I mean, it's competitive sports, professional sports.
Sandipan, what would you want to add to this?
Completely, I would like to disagree here. With Abhishek. I think we should prepare sporting wickets because we all want to promote Test cricket. We want the match to last at least day 4, day 5 till day 5. England are making this because they want that game to stretch till the weekend because and also their counties depend on those gate collections. But
if you want a game to last till the weekend, start it on a Saturday. Start it on a Friday. That's the easiest way to do it. Why would you start it on a Wednesday? Start on a Friday or a Saturday.
We all want to see a good game of cricket, which it is just not about winning. It is about playing competitive. I mean, being competitive, right? For India, like if we prepare those, what can I say? Those spin friendly wicket. Look, spin friendly wicket. The term is different than dust balls, right? We see spin friendly wickets in Sri Lanka.
I
We
want
I
I want the first ball to turn round at a right angle.
But that ICC will reprimand that. There is a clause in the ICC that they
Okay,
can reprimand.
okay. India has plenty of grounds, enough grounds.
But
They'll
that's
just
not we
rotate the
all
grounds.
want. That's not we all want, right?
Yeah.
Even the broadcasters sell advertising
Ah,
revenue for want to.
now we are talking. Now that is a valid point. If it's about
Yes.
So
broadcasters, that makes
broadcaster
sense.
wants advertisement revenue for for a 5 day event, right? They
Yeah.
cannot just end the game with 2 days and just 3 days of highlight packages. It cannot work. And also from a sporting point of view, like we all want to see good cricket. Obviously, there will be home advantage. You absolutely need to take the home advantage, but prepare a pitch where there is something for everyone. For example, this wicket we had seen that if you apply yourself on that surface, there will be runs on offer. As a bowler, if you hit the right areas, you can use the overhead conditions, or whenever there is some sideways movement, you can get wickets. Spinners can turn the ball, as we have seen, and probably we would have seen that more if India would have bowled in the fourth innings. So this is a kind of ideal wicket. We can see this. Even the Lord's one
And
was a good wicket.
still it got over inside 10 sessions.
Yeah, exactly, because India batted poorly.
Yeah, I mean,
But
so some team will.
they can't complain, right? Nobody can complain that okay, this pitch was too much in favor of a certain cricketers who have
No, I
some special skills, right? For example, if the pitch is too much in favor of the spinner, then only your survival at the crease depends on luck. It's not about
no,
skill
okay,
anymore.
there is some skill
It is not
involved.
about skill
We
anymore. It is
saw
all about
we
luck,
saw
being
in
lucky.
we saw in 2004 that Bombay Test where Clark took a lot of wickets. I thought
Yeah,
Tendulkar and Lakshman batted brilliantly on that pitch. Batted
Yeah.
beautifully. I mean, they were in. As long as they were there at the crease, it didn't feel like they were. I mean, there was anything dangerous happening. They were using their feet so well, and the moment they got
but
out, Clark ran through them.
look, we have seen spin friendly wickets. We have seen people like
Yeah,
Amla, Alistair Cook doing well on Indian
yes.
condition on spin friendly pitches. So why can't we have similar side of wicket rather than preparing, for
My
example,
only thing is,
something what we saw in
if you
yeah
make
something
spin
which
friendly pitches, go be absolutely shameless about it. Tell the touring side, okay, we will be prepared in spin friendly pitches. We are going to make things difficult for you. If you can't, I mean,
that's
you
what
better
they
prepare
do.
yourself. Yeah.
That's what they do.
I want
Still
home
England,
teams to be
still
more shameless.
but compare the test matches we see in Sri Lanka. Compare the test matches we see in Sri Lanka. We
Actually,
saw
actually, act, actually, Sri Lanka produces some excellent test cricket. Uh, they
exactly.
produce they produce 4 5 day results. That is one good
Hmm.
thing. I mean, matches
At
usually last
venues
on
like
fourth and fifth
Gaul,
days.
at
Yes.
Gaul, at Pisara Oval, we see this kind of wickets, right? Where
The country where
spinner.
this does not happen, where matches get over really early, are typically New Zealand.
Yeah.
You'll
But
see
these days
matches
New
getting
Zealand are
wrapped
making.
up inside 3 days.
But I think India also there are matches. In recent years we have seen this trend that matches being ended within
Yeah,
3 or 4 days. In
usually what
Bangladesh is
happens.
another country. Bangladesh is
Bang,
another country
bang,
where they prepare.
yes, I loved the shameless Bangladeshi approach when they went into a test match with four spinners and zero seamer. I loved that approach. Okay, if you want to go with spin, just leave out every pacer in the side.
Yeah, and I think
Abhishek, the I
Four, five,
Somo Sarkar was the only pacer in the
yes,
team.
yes,
I think it was
absolutely.
genuine.
Be
I
shameless.
think it was a statement of intent from them. And
Yes, yes.
that's where we can put this.
They know how to. I mean, they literally took that thing. That's the word, home advantage, seriously. I mean,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they made a pitch for spinners. Absolutely. I mean, the first over produced turn, and then they lost the test match because Rashid Khan was better than all of their spinners. They lost to Afghanistan at home.
Yeah, but they beat the likes of Australia and England at
Yeah,
home
they beat Australia and
also.
England. Yeah, beat just using spin. They have quality spinners on turning pitches, not on all surfaces, but on turning pitches, their spinners are very good. They do not have any world class seamer in Test cricket. So why will you give the seamers a chance? Because the opposition has seamers. They do
But
not have their seamers. They have 3-4 world class spinners to take full advantage. Strangle the opposition with spin.
but in contrast, India have quality seam attack. So why can't we just prepare good wickets? Our spinners can do well over there as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, but that will also bring the because the opposition comes without quality spinners, and more importantly, not many visiting teams right now in India coming to India. Joe Root is an exception. Not many visiting players are world-class players of spin. Root and Smith are exceptions to this. They're fantastic batters.
Yeah.
I would
Smith
love to see
throughout
how
that
Kane Williamson.
India tour of
How,
Yes,
2017.
Williamson also. New Zealand are coming this year, right?
yeah, for three
Yeah.
test matches.
So I
and
would
Australia.
love to watch. I would love to watch Williamson against the Indian spinners in India. That is going to be an exceptional contest.
He did well against
And-
Pakistani spinners and in
Yes,
the UAE.
yes, and against Sri Lanka, in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, and against Sri Lanka, in Sri Lanka, yes.
So
Yes.
this will, and I'm looking forward to Kyle Jamieson in India.
But you have seen in the IPL.
That this is different. This is going to
The
be
red ball, it's going to be very much
Yeah,
different.
of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my
Then
point,
again,
so my point is that you prepare good pitches, bad pitch. There is something for everyone, so that the match lasts till 4-5 days, and we get result on the 4th day evening or 5th day, second session, first session, ideally.
I believe in shamelessness. Tell them in their face, we are winning this one. Look at this pitch. Kill them psychologically before the match starts.
It can backfire. Stephen
It
O'Keefe,
can
remember
backfire.
Pune?
Yeah. But O'Keefe happened
Pune.
once. Yeah.
Stephen O'Keefe.
If you are shameless and it backfires, you look foolish as well. But then again, I don't think we can top that one line from Abhishek, I believe in shamelessness. And it's not a cliche, but if we will wait for the day when it becomes one. So yes, gentlemen, nice bit discussion today. We've had some very outside of this series view discussion as well. So to our audience who are here, you can always expect that from these two gents who join us in talking about cricket every time. We'll be here talking about the next test match as well, just before it begins, a day before it begins, to be precise. Thank you so much, gents, for joining us. And just one final bit before we just disperse off to our separate choice of locations. We would want to talk about who is going to attend, and we have done this before. What you exactly said, Abhishek, before the second preview of ours, the preview of the third match of ours was that, India have just won a test match. This has happened before. They've drawn the first test, they won the second, then they have lost another one. They've lost the series, which is kind of what is happening in this series. But I would want to hear from you two right now, who is going to attend the next press conference, which is not related to the stat that I just talked about, and whether or not right now, what you think, India can make a comeback in this series or not?
Of course they can. This is a very good sign.
Yeah.
I mean, they won us. They were down in Australia. They won a series in Australia. They are not even trailing here. The series is 1-1. In Australia,
Yeah.
they were bowled out for 36 and lost, and were 0-1 down, and they came back from there to win. The same players. The captain
Same
has changed.
players also turned it around against England at home, right? They lost the first
Yeah.
test in
Yes,
Chennai.
yes.
The first test, yeah.
So, which was the last test series where India were not trailing? I can't even remember.
That famous first test dialogue by Virat Kohli. And he himself took this as a 6-test series, didn't he, before the WTC final? So we're probably in the final act of this test
By the way,
series.
By the way, this is the what? This is the first time I think India lost the third test of a series under Virat Kohli. I think that holds.
2018, we won the third test.
Yes.
Yeah,
2019, 2018-19
Where
Australia, we won as well. No,
we lost
20.
the third test back in 2014.
yeah,
England
but
in
that was
England
not
only.
under
Yeah,
Kohli.
yeah,
That was
Not
not under
yeah,
Kohli.
yeah.
MS Dhoni.
Yeah. Is it so? At home, obviously, we have been far away from
I think we
losing Test
lost at
series.
Perth, right, under Kohli, 2019
Yes,
tour
that
and
was the second
18-19
test.
tour.
That
That
was
was
the
the
second
second.
test.
Third
First
was
test
Oh
was
yeah,
Melbourne.
Adelaide. Second,
Yeah,
yes.
third was
Third
Melbourne.
test
That
was
too.
Melbourne.
yeah.
There you
So
go. You've got a statistic.
it's a bizarre statistic, but it's
Yeah,
true.
it's one for the history books, Abhishek.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah,
can end it on a cliche.
we
10
won
years
at
down,
Johannesburg
10
as
years
well.
down. Yeah. 10 years down, 5 years down. This will come up in a quiz question. Be ready for this. Someone
Yeah.
will ask this.
I don't think I need to be ready for it. I'll probably talk to someone else who's far more younger and is more so the quiz kind of audience 10 years from now. But that's it for us as of now. Thank you so much, gents, for joining us. Hope you have a nice weekend. We have the cricket, which is over, so we'll probably do away with the work talking about the preview. But that's just it from our end. Thank you so much.